Hello everybody, Bomber County Biker here. Thanks for tuning in. This is the first of a MotoVlog series. Just thought I'd introduce myself and the channel. If this is the first video of mine that you've watched, you'll not know, but most of what I've put out already is more cinematic style videos, you know, not any sort of motovlog content. Be sure to check those videos out. But I'd also like to do some motovlogging on the channel, so I thought I'd introduce myself. I'm 29 years old. I always forget how old I was then. Been riding a good few years, on and off since I was 16, a little bit before that as well, but nothing too much. Love bikes, used to work in the bike industry, worked for 5 years in motorbike clothing and apparel. That's when I used to work for Hungarica. Unfortunately, that company went bankrupt and bust all around the world. But obviously I had a lot to do with bikes and constantly had the carrot dangled. Unfortunately, when I turned 18 and was going to do my bike test, the UK government decided to up the age to 21. Then when I turned 21, they upped the age to 24. And then when I turned 24, I just couldn't viably afford it at the time. I'd already moved out and had other things to do. Finally decided when I was 26, I think, to do my test. A bit more experience on the road, and come to the idea that I probably wasn't going to vaporise myself when I jumped on a motorbike. So I'm currently riding the 2017 Kawasaki Z1000 SX. It's the performance model. There's a fair few little add-ons to it. Changed the screen. Obviously I've got the sat-nav wired in. I have changed the cans. I've got Akrapovic GP megaphones on it at the moment. Stuck a little RNG tail tidy on it. GB Racing engine covers. I've got the Kawasaki OEM crash sliders. I've got some GB Racing bobbins at the back, to name a few. Kyoko mechanical throttle lock. This is really good. This is like mechanical cruise control. I'll maybe do a feature on that another time, but it's really good. So what sort of riding will I look to do? Well, I ride regularly. I do ride for pleasure. I have a car and I don't like riding in the rain. It's not to say I don't ride in the rain, but I certainly don't look out and see black clouds and think, oh, what a great day to go out on the bike. I suppose you could call me a fair weather rider. Nonetheless, I get out a lot when I can, juggle around work and family life. Got a young son, so obviously juggling that as well as work and other things means I don't get to go out as much maybe as I'd like to, but I still do get out. I love to do day trips. I like to get some content out that will hopefully follow me riding around the country. I really enjoy the Yorkshire Dales, Yorkshire Moors, Peak District, places like that. I really want to go and do a quick tour around Wales maybe this year. I think maybe a 2 or a 3 dayer. Well, again, we'll have to see what happens given the state of things. I'll also look to maybe do some bike reviews. I do look to try and mix up the content. I appreciate just watching me ride this bike constantly and talk drivel could probably get a bit boring quite quickly, but hopefully I can think of enough things to, you know, just break it up. I'd look to try and put a video out every 2 weeks. Might go to every 3 depending on how busy I am, but you know, at least one a month minimum. I'll also look to do equipment reviews. I'll go through the equipment that I'm using, maybe get my hands on some other stuff. and basically anything motorcycle related, to be honest with you. I'm taking a lot of inspiration from some other vloggers. Really keen on Andy Mancam, The Likeable Rider, Richie Vida, Teapot One. It's not a plug for them, but you know, that's the sort of content I'm going to try and emulate. I'm a fairly confident rider. I'm not going to sit and say I'm the best rider because that just sounds ridiculous, but I'm fairly confident, and I ride a bike for enjoyment. So you know, I'm not pootling around terrified of riding a bike, you know, as well. A lot of people say to you, why do you ride a bike? Don't you find it scary or dangerous? No, I don't, and anyone that rides a bike probably doesn't either, or you wouldn't do it, would you? But you know, in terms of riding experience, I'm currently going through the IAM Road Smart qualification, looking to try and get a little bit more training under my belt. I don't think it can do any harm. I've learned, you know, a fair few things. I have had driver training through my job, so a lot of it is replicated. However, you know, I've enjoyed doing that course, and I would thoroughly recommend that everybody sits and does that. You're never too old to learn things. You know, people who've been riding a long time doesn't necessarily mean you're riding the right way. It's not that expensive, and it's good fun. Good bunch of guys. I'll maybe do a feature on that as well in a separate episode. Oh no, I think we've got rain. I've not packed my waterproofs. Sat in my two-piece leathers. My office told me there was no rain. Oh well, hopefully it stays just spitting. This is my first time doing anything like this, so obviously I'm learning as I go. I'm not used to sitting and talking to myself. That's quite hard. If you've never done it, you should try it, and then you might realise how hard it is. And I respect a lot of these guys that stick content out every week. You know, they obviously work very hard. I've taught myself video editing, something new to me. I've done during lockdown. Just like to try and add a tool to my belt, was how it started. And then I thought, well, I'll start and try a YouTube channel, which is, you know, here we are. Did a trip a few years ago. Did a 3,500 mile trip with a friend. Went down through England, into France, Belgium, into Germany, all the way down to the Alps, and did about 10 days there, which was great. I've got a family that live that way, so I was able to touch up with them, use their house as a bit of a base camp. I would say it was the first sort of overland riding that I'd ever done. Go on, son. First overland riding that I'd ever done, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I did that on my old Suzuki SV 650S with a mate on his Fireblade, and I hope to be able to get back to Europe to do some more of that. Obviously the pandemic has put the brakes on a lot of plans that we all had, and mine, yeah, definitely consisted of going away, but what can you do? If you haven't already, please like this video, leave a comment, subscribe. As I say, I like to put out lots of different content. It isn't just going to be motovlogs, but I'd love for you to be able to follow me on this journey. Well, thanks for tuning in. It's a relatively short one. I really appreciate the time that you've given, and try and get some new content out in the next few weeks. Hopefully something a little bit more interesting. I'll do a little trip around the Lincolnshire Wolds. Always good routes out that way. and maybe pop down to some local bike nights. But yeah, anyway, thanks a lot guys, really appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, thanks for now, stay safe, bye bye.